Rico se levanta. Let's hear it, Bronx. Let's hear it. I want that guy's voice. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. That's right. I want to thank, first of all, the people of New York. You know, when I read that sign, New York stands with Puerto Rico, truer words have never been written or have ever been spoken. Because right in the aftermath of the hurricane, the first plane that landed, the first aid that came, the first support to rebuild our energy system, the first help to get back our plan to build back Puerto Rico again, came from New York. So on behalf of the people of Puerto Rico, gracias New York, hicieron la diferencia y sí se puede. Of course, New York has a great leader, has a phenomenal friend. I want to tell you a little bit about the involvement that Governor Cuomo has had with Puerto Rico. Since I took oath from my office, the first phone call I got from a U.S. governor was from Governor Cuomo. At that moment, he told me that he wanted to reiterate that he was going to be there for the people of Puerto Rico. That many of his constituents are hoping that we can build a better, more prosperous Puerto Rico, and that himself and his team were going to be there to do it. Now, of course, throughout politics, you receive many phone calls, and you receive many promises. So at that moment, I just took it as a generous phone call from a friendly and great leader, but that's where I left it. When summer came by and Hurricane Irma was about to hit Puerto Rico, the first phone call I got was from Governor Cuomo, saying, we know the hurricane still has not hit Puerto Rico, but we want to let you know that we're here for you and that we're ready to help whenever you need it. Hurricane Irma hit Puerto Rico, but it glazed it through the north, and we were able to rebuild back within a span of 2 weeks and even help some of our fellow Americans and other citizens in the islands nearby. 2 weeks pass and Hurricane Maria forms. This time, a more imminent path of destruction was expected. Again, the first phone call I received, Governor Cuomo saying that this time things looked a little bleaker, but that we had his commitment that New York was going to stand with Puerto Rico for whatever we needed. As you know, the hurricane was devastating. It was the biggest devastation in the modern history of the United States. Once the hurricane passed, the first plane that came to Puerto Rico had Governor Cuomo and a delegation that included councilmen, congresswomen, and others that brought the first aid to Puerto Rico. With that, he already had won our people's heart. But he did not stop there. When he saw that we needed help to get our energy grid back up, he did not wait. He just sent folks to Puerto Rico to start rebuilding the energy grid. When he saw that we needed a strategy, not only to put back together what was then, before, but to rebuild it better than what it was. He gave us alternatives and put his team at our disposal so that we could rebuild stronger and better than before. So ladies and gentlemen, you know, words are words, but I value actions. I value commitment. I value leadership. I value true friendship. And Governor Cuomo, you are a true champion. You are a true friend of the people of Puerto Rico. Thank you, Governor Cuomo, for everything you're doing, for everything that you're done, and for everything that you will be doing for the people of Puerto Rico. But Cuomo has a great team. He's got the dean, they call him in Congress, the champion of Puerto Rico. In every conversation in Congress, doesn't matter what the topic is, doesn't matter. Jose Serrano is always there to make sure that Puerto Rico is included and that we're treated equally. Thank you, Congressman Serrano, for your great leadership, for your friendship, and for your commitment. And our president of the borough, Diaz Dos. What a great leader. What a great champion. What a great work he's done. And what a great response immediately after the hurricane, when I just saw with Marco and with Ruben, a small clip of the outpouring of support of the people of the borough helping Puerto Rico. Again, people that have very little, they gave it to help others that have more limitations. So I want to thank you, Mr. President, for your commitment, for your leadership. I want to thank the congressman. I want to thank our all-star, Carlos Bertran, and his wife for all the support that they've done for Puerto Rico. Thank you so much. This is getting exciting. And I want to thank my friends at Leuna. They've, with steady dialogue, even in harsh times in Puerto Rico, we are trying to figure out a path forward to a sustainable living wage for the working class in Puerto Rico. Now, this is a challenge, so we're going to need your help. But as we rebuild Puerto Rico, we want that everybody that puts one brick, layer by layer, piece by piece at a time, to be able to, after a hard day's work, go back home and know that they are receiving a decent living wage for their family. Powerlessness. Powerlessness. Think about that word for a second. Powerlessness. This is what Puerto Rico has faced for centuries. Powerlessness. When the time comes to have decisions that are important for our future at the greatest stage, we don't have the power to make them. When the time comes for bigger policies that affect all Americans, we don't have a vote in Congress to make sure that the U.S. citizens in Puerto Rico have fair and equitable treatment. Powerlessness. This powerlessness is what has in many occasions, driven many of you from your hometowns back in the island to the United States to look for a better quality of life, to look for more opportunities, to get all of the benefits of U.S. citizenship and not have to comfort with the second-class citizenship. This is what it's all about right now. U.S. citizens that live in Puerto Rico do not have the same rights as U.S. citizens that live in the United States. This has been there for many years, but only after the passage of Maria, when all of our U.S. brethren, and quite frankly, all of the world had its good look at Puerto Rico, were we able to see what this truly meant. Were we able to see what it means that when a hurricane comes to one of the jurisdictions in the United States, the energy grid is picked up in a matter of days, maybe a week. In Puerto Rico, it's been 4 months, and we still have 30% of our population without energy. Where else in the United States would that even be possible? Where else in the United States would that be tolerable? After the passage of Maria, another thing happened. Many at Congress came to Puerto Rico from both sides of the aisle, and we welcomed them, and we wanted them to come, and we wanted them to see firsthand what had happened in Puerto Rico. Many of them came, and many of them took pictures with broken down bridges, flooding areas, handing out food, and stood at a podium just like this one and said that they were here for the people of Puerto Rico and that they would pledge their support so that Puerto Rico could move forward. I felt like something was changing at that point. But then the reality of Congress came in. And the first bill where Congress could act in the benefit of Puerto Rico was the tax reform bill. Now, you may have your opinion about that tax bill, and certainly New York gets hit hardest by that tax bill. But let me tell you what it does to Puerto Rico. It treats Puerto Rico as a foreign country. And by treating Puerto Rico as a foreign country, it levies an additional 12% tax on many of our corporations. We saw that this was going on, and we went to all of those folks that came to Puerto Rico and said, this would be devastating for our economy at a time where we most need it, where we need help. And of course, after arguing, after getting support, the bill was passed, and the bill not only did not help Puerto Rico, but it put us in a worse position than what we were before. Right after that, something changed within me. Something was apparently clear. If we don't demonstrate that we have political power, we will never get fair treatment for the people of Puerto Rico. Because if in our greatest time of need, in the moment where everybody was on record saying they wanted to help Puerto Rico, the first at bat, they swung and missed, what is that going to mean further down the road? So here's my humble petition to all of you over here. It is time to draw a line in the sand. It is time to separate those that are friends of Puerto Rico from those that have turned their back on the people of Puerto Rico. It is time to demonstrate that there are consequences when you affect U.S. citizens, just like everybody else, and don't give them fair and equitable treatment. So here is my proposal to you. We have 5.6 million Puerto Ricans strong in the United States. By comparison, let me tell you that our Cuban American brethren are 2.7 million strong. They are very influential because they're very well organized. And we have to do the same. I call upon you and I challenge you to help us establish this national structure all over the states so that we can demonstrate that we have political power too. That just because we don't vote, we have many, as Governor Cuomo said, many friends, many family members over here that do care about what's going on in Puerto Rico. Let's make sure we get organized, and let's make sure we work with non-for-profits, with all organizations. Let's register Puerto Ricans. Whether you came here last week and want to be part of this effort, or whether you've been here for 4 decades and haven't voted once, this is the time where it matters. This is the time when we need to show that we're organized, we're poised for change, and that we want to make sure that the people of Puerto Rico get the best. I call upon you to make this change. Are you with me? Are you with me? So let's go out there, let's organize, let's make change, and let's build back Puerto Rico better than ever again. Thank you, and God bless America.